Hello and welcome to today's Partner Infopedia web conference. This is Fast Track Dynamics 365 for Finance and Operations Enterprise Edition TechTalk. Today's topic, Introducing Analytical Workspaces. Presenting for us today from Microsoft, we have Senior Program Manager Shivam Pandey. So without any further delay, Shivam, over to you.
That's great. Thank you, Janice, for the introduction. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the session, Introducing Analytical Workspaces. In this session, I'll provide you an overview of analytical capabilities we have added to Workspaces in Dynamics 365 for Finance and Operations Enterprise Edition, July 2017 release. And for those of you who are not aware of the new name that we have for the product, that's the new name. Dynamics 365 for Finance and Operations Enterprise Edition. So I'm joined by Steve Sladen, who will help answer any questions online. And at the end of the session, if there is time remaining, we'll be taking some questions at the end too. The presentation that we'll be doing today would be for around 45 minutes, and then we'll have ample of time at the end for any questions. The agenda for today's meeting is simple. It's threefold. I will introduce you to the analytical workspaces and provide you an overview of how they can help you and your business. Then we will take a deep dive and I will demonstrate to you the key analytical and personalization capabilities on workspaces. Then we will conclude by looking forward to what's coming in the future releases and also provide you with some reference material for your future reference. So with that, let's get started. The introduction. So I'm sure that many of you are aware of what workspaces are. It's not a new concept. To the July 2017 release, many were part of the AX7 release. But for the sake of those who are not familiar with workspaces and a revision for those who are, let me provide you an overview. The analytical workspaces are role-tailored, purpose-built, easily customizable, rich analytical and action-driven views of business process areas. A lot of adjectives that I threw on you, but again, let me repeat that. They are role-tailored. They are for a specific role, purpose-built, and purpose-built for that role. They can be easily customized. They bring forward rich analytical content for you, and you can drive actions from the workspace. They help you understand the big picture about the business process, but at the same time provide you the ability to easily drill through to the details. But the workspaces are not just limited to analysis and monitoring. They can help you initiate meaningful actions and also help you navigate to the most used forms in your area for the given role that you are in the workspace. In fact, the design intention behind the workspaces was of a home page, the first page that you want to go to when you want to start working. So if you are wondering if there's a workspace for you, want to know more, depending upon your role in your organization, you will be able to use one or more of the 50 plus workspaces in Dynamics 365 for Finance and Operations Enterprise Edition. Here on, I'll just say Dynamics 365, and it means the Finance Operation Enterprise Edition. For example, of workspaces, we have the CFO workspace for the CFO persona. For the collections agents, we have the Credit and Collections workspace. For data administrators and implementation partners, we have Data Management workspace. I'm sure all implementation partners on this call must have used the Data Management workspace at least once. So what's new on a workspace? That's the question, right? Workspace already existed, and what's new? And here's what's new. The analytical workspaces, that is workspaces with embedded analytics in them. We have introduced the embedded analytic reports on multiple workspaces. The analytical reports have help users to get insight into business processes without losing the context of their work. Looking at the screenshot, you may notice that the workspace pattern has been updated to include tabs in them. And on this particular workspace, the Credit and Collections workspace, you see there are two tabs: My Work tab and the Analytics All Companies tab. So in all workspaces, you either find the operational view that is on the left that you see, or an analytical tab that is on the right that you're seeing. But for some workspaces, for example, the CFO workspace, there is only analytical content. While in some workspaces, you'll find both, for example, in this case. The My Work tab, or the operational view provides the operational view of your business process. It helps you understand the current state of your business and then the things that need attention right away. It also helps you prioritize tasks and drive actions. The Analytical tab contains rich embedded visualizations that provide insights into your business process using easy-to-read chart KPIs and other complex visualizations. The analytical reports help you understand the correlation between the diverse data points you may have in your business areas through the contextual filtering that we have introduced, and it might save you hours and hours of work in analysis. We will talk about the detailed capabilities in a few minutes. First, let me shed some more light on the what embedded analytics are. So the embedded analytics are Power BI reports embedded directly into Dynamics 365 for finance and operations. Creating Power BI reports based on Entity Store is not new. It was a feature that was introduced in Platform Update 1 version, which was released around May 2016 timeframe. So basically, this area that you see that I'm highlighting right now, this is not new. This already existed. So since version update 1, you had the ability to create perspectives, to take the data from the transactional database, manipulate it, aggregate it, and push it into the AX data warehouse that is the Entity Store. You could build Power BI reports using the schema and data in the Entity Store. Optionally, we also shipped a lot of, I wouldn't say a lot, but a number of Power BI reports through LCS. So you could download the pre-built report we shipped from LCS, the lifecycle services, shared service library in the Power BI model section, and use it as a template and build upon it to create your own report. Once the report is created, you could publish the report to powerbi.com public service and use the Power BI gateway to push the data out from the Entity Store to powerbi.com. You could then share these reports across your organization. And this was a great reporting solution because this reporting scenario is ideal for customers of Power BI report who do not need any other access in Dynamics 365. So they're not doing any other work in Dynamics 365 other than looking at these Power BI reports. And it's great for these kind of scenarios. But the drawback of this approach is threefold, right? First of all, there are performance implications. It's not direct query. You are doing a cached data update. So there's performance implications when high transactional data sets are required to be cached to Power BI. The second is that if the consumer of this data is also a user in Dynamics 365, the user would not be in the context of his work when he navigates to powerbi.com to use the report. He's going out of the context of the work. If he is a collections agent, he's not in the collections workspace anymore, not the collections forms anymore. He's going out to a different service to look at these reports. And also, I think one of the major drawbacks was that there was no drill-through supports back to Dynamics 365 forms and lists. So if I was looking at a visualization in powerbi.com, I couldn't click on the visualization and try to see get more data behind it and navigate into Dynamics 365 for finance and operations. To fix this gap, basically, so this is what you've seen before, and this is what is new. So to fix these gaps, we introduced the Power BI Embedded. With Power BI Embedded, you can embed a Power BI report right into a workspace. The report uses direct query to pull the data out from the Entity Store and hence is very performant for high transaction scenarios. The data is as fresh as your Entity Store is, so you can, and you do control how often you refresh the Entity Store. So depending upon your refresh cycles, the data can be very, very fresh that you see on these reports. But I think, in my opinion, there are two biggest advantages. The first advantage is that the user does not have to lose the context of his work between analysis and execution, right? If he's working on, for example, if a collections persona is working on collecting from a customer, and he wants to go look at some of the analytics around that customer or around the region where the customer belongs, he is right in the workspace where the analytics are. He doesn't have to lose the context. So that's number one. Number two is the drill throughs to app allows you to see the details in the Dynamics 365. That means that there is no delay between analysis and execution. So if you're looking at a chart, suppose the age balances chart, and you want to drill through and see what customers make that, the age balances in 180-day period bucket, you could just click on it, navigate to a form or a list in Dynamics 365 and start investigating further. So there is no delay there between analysis and execution. You don't have to remember, note down stuff to go find them in the app at a later point of time. So you might be wondering if there is an embedded analytical report for you, for your use, right? So here is the list of 18 purpose-built analytical reports containing more than 90 pages of rich analytics across Dynamics 365. So we did build a lot of reports, and 90 pages, it's a lot of pages. Let's let it sink in. There's 90 pages of analytical content around these reports. Also, we are continuously adding more reports, and all existing and new reports will be available to download through LCS. And as we keep building new reports, you would see them, being pushed into workspaces or forms as they are built as hot fixes or in the upcoming release. And also, these reports are not specifically in one area. They're not just in financial, so they're not just in SCM, or they're not just in HCM, the human capital management. They are across the domain area. The richness of these reports can be used across the domain area. So with that, I think we have had enough of screenshots, and we should go right into the demo where I can show you the analytical content that we have added. So let me go to the credit and collections workspace. Right there. For the purpose of this demo, I have chosen the Manage Credit and Collections workspace because this is one of the areas that I own and I work in. So I'm comfortable with it. So the Credit and Collections Analytical Workspace has been tailor-made for credit and collections persona to get insights into the credit and collections processes within their organizations. So like the purpose of a workspace is tailor-made for a role. This is for credit and collections role. On this workspace, the first thing that you might notice is there are now two tabs that, as I had mentioned before, the My Work tab and the Analytics All Companies tab, right? The My Work tab is the operational view of a workspace. And basically it is to provide actionable data for a role right away when they enter the workspace. So for example, in the first section is the summary section which contains summarizations of the most important and actionable metrics for a process area. I can see that there are 11 open activities that I need to go look into and close. There are 6 open collection cases that I need to go and close. And I can take action right away. I can click on them, and then I could navigate to the activities list page and start investigating what were those activities that I need to complete. So that's the summary section. Generally, the summary section is followed by analytical section. The intention of which is to provide the important data points in an analytical format. Again, in this case, you're seeing there are two sections, right? Two reports that you see here, charts that you see here. The age balances and the balance by status. Now, these charts, they're not static, right? They're not for just seeing. You can actually, hover on them to see the data behind them. For example, if I hover over current, I see the amount that's in the current bucket for my aged balances is around $1,300,000. Now, I also see that there is data in other buckets, and if I wanted to exclude current and see data in other buckets, I could click on current, which would exclude it from the pie chart, and I could then focus on other areas. Plus, there is drill-through capabilities. So if I click on a given slice, it takes me to the age balances list page, filtered to that to the customers that have overdue amounts in that period, so 180-day over. So it's not just for look and feel. There's a lot you can do with these. They're interactive and can help you in analysis. We'll come back to Power BI section in a few minutes. Let me go to the grid section. Oops, I'm sorry. The grid section. Now the grid sections help you see details about the content that you are seeing in the summary and the analytical section. For the grid section, you can also take certain actions. Like in this case, if I wanted to create a new activity for a customer, I can click on new activity and start creating a new activity right from here. I don't have to navigate away from the workspaces. Again, the point that I'm stressing is that workspaces is just not for analysis, but it is also for, okay, what do I need to act next? And also to start performing actions. And that is what I'm trying to stress here. The last section that you see is the link section. And basically, the link section will help you easily navigate to the most visited form for the persona that uses this workspace. So basically, for the credit collections manager, we have the aged customer balances, collection letter journals, customer pools for setup, so on and so forth. Now, let's look at the new stuff that we added, the Analytics tab. It takes a few seconds, couple of seconds to load, so we'll give it time to load. The Analytics tab brings forward rich analytical content relevant for a credit and collections persona into the credit and collections workspace. As mentioned before, this analytical report is a Power BI report, which we have embedded within the workspace. This report is also available to download through LCS. So let's look at the components of the analytical reports. At the bottom, you would notice that there are multiple pages in this analytical reports. The first two pages are the summary pages or the overview pages. And this is the format that you'd find across all analytical reports, where the first page is the summary page, which provides you summary information about the area that you're looking at. And then you will have the next pages in there, which would provide you detailed information. For example, the collections overview page contains some important collections metrics. For example, the age balances, the customers' collections status amounts, the customer past due, and customers over credit limit. So the next section is the credit overview, where we bring the overview from the credit information for your customers. For example, how many of them are over their credit limit? Who are those people who are there over their credit limit? Customers over their credit limit by the company, which regions do they belong to? So we get that information out for you in the overview sections. Now, rest of the pages that you see here are basically the detailed analysis of some of the summary tiles that you see here, basically. So if I go to the age balance section, you'd see that there is a detailed analysis of the aging for the customers across all your legal entities on this page. So an in-depth analysis looking at various dimensions that we think a persona would like to do when it comes to age balances. And this is a general theme that you will see across all the workspaces. Summary sections, detail pages. So let's go back to the credit overview and look at some of the visualizations, and let's try to see what interactions are supported on these visualizations. So depending upon the visualization type, for example, this is a card that you're seeing up here, the customer over credit limit and customer past due. While these are like the pie charts, the map charts, so on and so forth. The type of interaction supported changes. For example, for card view, we only support export data. So when I click on export data, you would see that an Excel sheet opens with, let me get that back, with the information that you were seeing there. So it's probably not very useful. But when you go to other type of charts, you might find some more useful information. For example, the bar chart supports, first of all, it supports the hovering capabilities. So if I hover over a bar graph, it will show me more information about the slides that I'm looking at. For example, if I hover over the excellent slides, it tells me the actual credit limit and how many customers are in that excellent credit limit group. If I hover over the good credit limit customers, it tells me how many customers. There are 22 customers who have the credit rating of good. Credit limit is around $6 million. Also, it supports other functionality like see data and see record. So when I click on see data, you'd see that the chart is now highlighted, and the data points on the charts are now presented at the bottom. So if you wanted to do a high-level analysis, this is great for that. And the C details, C records will show you the records that make that particular slice. So when I clicked on the good customers C records, it basically shows me the list of customers at a high level, who they are, what their credit limit is, how much amount they are over credit limit if they are, so on and so forth. So a much more richer functionality when compared to the cards that you were seeing here. Now, I think one of the most important features is the contextual filtering that Power BI supports, and we were able to support within the embedded content. So if I wanted to filter this page to see how all my customers with good credit rating are doing, I could click on the good bar on the credit limit versus balance due chart, which I'm going to do right now, and you'll see that all the information around all the other charts on this page has now been filtered to only show me the information for the customers who have good credit rating. So with one click, I can say there are 5 customers with good credit rating who are overdue, and this is their total credit limit amount over credit limit. Sorry. There are 6 past due customers, and this is the balance that is past due. I know that I've extended $6.717 million in credit to the customers with good credit rating, and out of that, $1.5 million are being used. I can also see the how they are distributed across my legal entities, plus from a geographical location where these customers are located. I can see that too. So very handy, right? Similarly, if I had to filter back and look at excellent customers, I could do that, and it would fill all the charts around on the page would filter to show me now the information for the customers who have excellent credit rating. Let's keep going. Let's look at the map chart. This looks a little bit more interesting. Let's see what capabilities a map chart supports. First capability that it supports is that I can expand my chart, that is the credit limit versus credit rating by region, if I want to look into more details. So I could expand it out if I want to, slide across if I want to, and zoom into a region if I want to analyze a certain region. Now, what this chart is showing is that the size of the circle represents the amount of credit extended in a region. More the credit extended in a region, bigger the circle. So if I hover over New York, we have the credit limit of 900,000 there. When it's Texas, it's a little bit smaller, so it's 800,000. Nevada is even smaller. It's around 400,000 20,000. And as I'm hovering over, you see more information. For example, in Nevada, the average percentage of credit remaining is 87. That's pretty good. So my customers have some credit remaining in Nevada. But in Texas, it's lower. It's only around 33% credit remaining. So I might need to, at some point of time, go look at who those customers are and why they're using all their credit. Also, if you look at the circles have different shadings, and the shading of the circle represents the amount of credit remaining. More the credit remaining in the region, the darker the circle. If lighter is the shade, less is the credit remaining. So you don't have to think, you don't have to look at the figures to actually determine where you have to look to or investigate. You can look at the size and the shading, and that tells you, okay, I need to look at Texas because Texas has the least credit remaining, while it has one of the most credit limit that we have offered. So if I wanted to dig into Texas a little bit more, I could again use the see records functionality, which would tell me or list me with the list of customers that are in that region. And basically, I would see that there's one customer, Contoso Retail Dallas, which has not used any credit. So they've not brought anything from us, but Sunset Wholesale is used credit beyond what I had offered them. So they are over their credit limit. So I would want to go and investigate more as to where and what their age balances are, and how much they own, how much they are, what their age balances are. So basically, I can do that by going back to the report. Sorry, let me open this up again. And when I click on the circle, there's an option to drill down into Dynamics 365 for operations, the age balances list page, where the list page is now filtered with those customers that were present in the in Texas region. And now I can do a detailed evaluation. So looking at the customer that was over their credit limit, they have a amount due of $531,000, but they are all in current bucket. So nothing to worry about. They bought from us. Probably they have exceeded the credit limit because it was a big amount, a large product that they bought from us, or the quantity. But they are current, so I don't have to bother about it. But the point being, again, that I want to stress is that this was not possible before, right? From a Power BI embedded analytics. You could use the see records functionality to see some details within the context of Power BI, but you could not drill down into the app itself, to see more details. So if I want to look at the customers in operations, I'll click on the circle. It will take me to the list of customers now that are in the New York region, and I can keep on doing the detailed investigation. Now, oops, let me refresh the page here. Power BI timed out on me. So when I refresh it, it will reload and we should be good to go. Back to my analytics. Back to great overview. So we're talking about the map chart here. It also supports multiple functionalities. For example, drilling down. So currently we are seeing data at the state level. If we wanted to see data at the county level, I would do one more click. It would bring me and show now data on the county level. If I wanted to take a deeper dive and look at the city level, I could do that. One more click, drill in. Let me see. One more click, drill in should bring the data at the city level. Then the other level is the zip code level that I can go and drill in. So very rich functionality. All the functionality that was available to you to use in a Power BI report, we are bringing it and embedding it within Dynamics 365 for finance and operations. And on top of that, we are adding functionalities like drill throughs to forms and operations for you to easily navigate to the data that you're looking for. So that's the icing on the cake. Now, one thing to note is that currently when I click on certain charts, for example, the good slice here, you'd see the data is filtered. When I click on a circle in the map chart, the credit limit versus credit used by region, it drills down into operations. So there is some inconsistency there with the drill through behavior. With the drill through behaviors and the contextual filtering. We use this same single click gesture for both of them. We are working with the Power BI team to get you a better experience. We understand it can be confusing and inconsistent experience, but please bear with us, and pretty soon we will have an alternate gesture for drill throughs, and it won't be a single click because we're going to reserve single click for contextual filtering. Great. So there was some of the functionalities that these visualizations support. There are many more, and I would encourage you to go play with them. The other thing that I want to talk about is filtering, right? The Power BI report supports report level filters. So if I want to filter the data and want to look at only a specific company, I could do that. So if I want to only look at data in USMF, I can select USMF, and all the data on this report is now filtered to only show me for the customers that belong to USMF. Let's go to credit overview. If I wanted to, apply a visual level filter, because visuals have more filters than what report has. So when I selected visual, you see that the visual level filters have popped up. If I wanted to say that I want to only see customers whose average percentage credit remaining is less than 50%, I could apply that, and you'd see the customers are only filtered to specific ones that have only credit remaining less than 50%. So rich filtering capabilities is supported across these visualizations and charts so that you can get to the data that you're looking for without having to export into Excel or going into a list to do that. Great. So I'll remove all the filters that I had added. Now, the other thing I want to talk about is security, right? That's one of the questions. How do I secure these reports? When you embed multiple analytical reports or a single analytical report in a workspace, you can secure the access to these reports using the menu item or role-based security, because they are inside a tab. So you can secure the tab, and you can only give certain roles access to these tabs. You can also pass filter context to a report at the design time. For example, the current analytical report shows data across all companies, but there's a way to at the design time say that I only want to show data for the current company where this report is loaded, and in that case the data will only be shown for the current company, and the company filter will not be available for selection. So both. So we support the menu item based and the role based security. Plus we also support design time filtering context that you can specify for a given report. Runtime filtering is not available yet. We are working again with the Power BI team to get that enabled, and in a future update one, you will be able to filter reports on runtime. Now let's talk about personalization. This is great, right? Now you could embed embedded reports. Sorry, you can embed the reports within a workspace. That's great, but what about personalization? So we are still working on the personalization story for the embedded reports themselves, the view that you are seeing here. But if you wanted to add a visualization into your workspace, you're not restricted today. You can do it, and this functionality has existed for a while. So if I go to my Works tab, you would see that there's this Power BI section that we have enabled on the workspace. This Power BI section links to your Power BI .com account. So any reports that you create in Power BI.com, you can embed it into operations. So let's do that. Let's quickly create a visualization in PowerBI.com and come back and embed it into your workspace. So I have Power BI open for me. This is the report that I want to, edit and add a new visual, right? So I'm currently editing it. I'll add a new page. All the entities that are available for me for this report I can see on the right. All the visuals that I can use for creating my, visualization. New visualizations are available here. Plus, you can, go in and do any formatting you would like in the format section. So I want to create a line graph, and the line graph will tell me the balance that is due. Oops, let me delete this. My mouse click didn't work very well. So the balance that is due and when they are due. I want to create a line graph. There you have it. So it's that easy, right? Again, let's do that again. It's pretty simple. Like, I just want to show you how simple it is. I want to create a line graph. I want to create a line graph of balance that is due and by due date. There, I have my line graph. Now, the next thing I want to do is pin this visual to a dashboard. And I've already created a collections dashboard. And I'm going to pin it there to the existing dashboard. Now, this visual should be available to me in Dynamics 365 for operations to select and pin. So I'll click on get started. It will try to authorize the Power BI with Power BI service, my user account and everything. So done. This is successful. Great. Let's go back, close this form. And as it closes, you'll see that a list of all the Power BI dashboards that I have out there on my PowerBI.com account and the content that I have created and pinned to this dashboards are available for me to pin here. So let me find collections. In Microsoft, we create a lot of dashboards. We love Power BI, right? So there's like hundreds of dashboards listed here for me. So I'll have to scroll down and find my collection dashboard here, right there. And let me scroll up and there we are. Let the visualizations load. There you are. These are the visualizations that are available to me. Remember this balance due, that one visualization that we just created? I'm going to select that. I'm going to select another one that already existed. And there we are. Let me pin it. And there you go. So you have the two visualizations, one that I recently created as part of this demo, and the one that I had already created, now pinned to my dashboard. Oh, sorry, the workspace. So again, there's a good personalization story with Power BI that is available today that you can start using. If you wanted to more, control on the reports that you see. But in the case of the analytical content that has been embedded on the analytical tab, we are in the process of working on personalization story there, and in a future release, you will be able to use it. Great. So we're doing great on time. So again, just a reminder, we added 18 embedded analytical reports with 90 plus pages of content, right? And I cannot go and show you all the content in today's demo, but I want to show you the variety of content that we have added. So I'll show you 3 more analytical workspaces that we have created. Let's look at the CFO workspace. Give it a second to load. There you go. So the CFO workspace is created, as the name suggests, for the Chief Financial Officer persona, the CFO persona. And the difference that you'd notice from the Credit Collections workspace and the CFO workspace is evident. The CFO workspace does not have an operational view. It only has the analytical view. This is because a CFO generally does not perform an action in the system, right? They are not, creating new transactions, posting invoices, doing payments. They just want to look at how are the financial processes performing, How's my sales performing? How is my purchasing performing, bank performing? They're not interested in doing any operations. So there's no operational view, but there's an analytical view. And again, the functionalities that are supported on the credit and collections workspace, for example, the contextual filtering. If I click on, if I want to see the expense by account category, if I click on the cost of account goods, all the information around the visualizations is filtered to the accounts that I have selected here. Similarly, if I click on other expenses, again, you see all the information that's filtering. So with contextual filtering, you are able to relate or create relationships between the data that were very diverse before. They were probably not closely related. It took a lot of work to drive those relationships. Now you're able to do it easily with contextual filtering. Also, similar to the other workspace that we just saw, we have the overview section, and then there is a detail section. So if the CFO wants to see how his sales is doing, sorry, if he can go into the sales section and start analyzing the data here. Again, the contextual filtering is again supported around here. Similarly, if you wanted to see the purchasing data, he could, see the purchasing data right over here. So again, quite a lot of rich analytical content available for the CFO, like it was available for the collections persona. These two were examples, workspaces were examples in the financial module. Now, let's look at an SCM workspace. The one that I want to show you is the sales and profitability performance workspace that we have added. So if you wanted to analyze which customers, products, location, etc. are profitable or are not profitable, this is the workspace for you. For example, you could find on this workspace, the analytical workspace, top 10 customers by revenue, right? It's easily available here. And you can also filter some of the content that you're seeing on the workspace right here using the filtering capabilities that have been embedded right into the report. For example, if you only wanted to see the retail customers, if you click on the retail customers, all the list around here is filtered to show you only retail customers. So for the top 10 customers by revenue, Desert Wholesale is your top retail customer. Similarly, if I wanted to see only wholesale customers, I'd select wholesale, and all the information around is filtered to the wholesale customers. So let me remove the filter. Similarly, you could filter by sales category. So if you wanted to see who is buying the most accessories from me, if I click on that, all wholesalers buying the most accessories from me. Just imagine the amount of work and effort that you would have to put in before, right, to get this kind of information out. Just by a single click now, through contextual filtering, you are able to see a lot of information, a lot of rich content right at your fingertips. And also, again, if you wanted to see your profitability by, product, we have the revenue by product page where you can go and start investigating and looking into each of the product areas. If you want to see by location how you're doing across the world or in the US, you could do that, right? Because we have a page for that. So a lot of, again, rich content available across the SCM area that I would encourage you to go and look at. Let's take a look at the last one that I want to show today is the recruitment page, right? So the HCM, the Human Capital Management area that we have today. The recruitment overview report provides the recruiters a great tool to analyze and analyze the recruitment process and the application data based on various dimensions, right? They can view the current number of applicants on here, the location where the applicants are coming from, what is the source of the application, and for example, is it coming from company web, daily times, so on and so forth. And also you could see the demographic information about your applicants. There's a detailed pages for example, if you wanted to see who your applicants were, more information about the demographics, you can get it there. If you wanted to see what is the status of the applications, you could get it here. Again, contextual filtering. Let's see if I wanted to see how many rejections and who were the people who were rejected. Clicking on 3, it should. Well, I think the data is not updated, but it filters the list on the right to show you those. So pretty pretty powerful functionality around these reports that we have here. So with that, again, we won't be able to cover all the reports, but I showed you 4 reports in different areas analytical reports that we have built and embedded within the workspaces or created new workspaces for them. With that, let me go back to my slide presentation and we'll go into the conclusion. So let's try to recap what you have seen here in a sentence. Let's try to recap in a sentence just for fun. Let's see if we are successful at it. So what are analytical workspaces? Analytical workspaces are role-tailored, they are purpose-built, they are easily customizable. They have rich analytical views of a business process area, helping you to understand the big picture because everything is summarized on those reports, but also providing you with very efficient drill-through capabilities to see the transactional details, so that you can take insightful actions, enabling you to improve and expand your business. So if you wanted to sell these workspaces to anybody, that's a sentence for you. It's a mouthful. So with that, let me talk about what you can expect next, right? We have now built the analytical content. It's available through powerbi.com for you to customize and pin it into your workspaces. We have embedded it within the workspaces. So what's next? So we'll be shipping the analytical reports as also through App Source as Power BI solution templates, and that will enable the bring your own device scenarios for you. So we are in the process of doing that. We'll be incrementally shipping the reports that are embedded in Dynamics 365 for Operations into App Source. So the other thing that we're working on is incremental refresh of the entity store. Basically, currently, every time you refresh a perspective to the entity store, all the data backed by that perspective is republished to the store. We plan to implement the incremental data updates, and instead of you having to republish all the data that is backed by a perspective that you're refreshing. We are also working on getting embedded visualizations. So instead of embedding the complete report, the ability to embed a single visual from a report on forms, list pages, and other places you can imagine. So I think that will be very powerful and game changer for reports and for forms and list pages. We are also working on personalization scenarios so that a user can move a visual around on a report depending upon what's priority for them. Unpinning of visualizations, pinning of visualizations to the the operational view, that is the My Work tab, and in some cases customizing the visualization. So if I wanted a pie chart instead of a bar chart, or vice versa, I should be able to do that as a user. We also want to enable these scenarios for administrators so that they can make changes to the report and publish it across their organization for all their users. So these are some of the scenarios that we're working on, and you should expect to see in future updates of Dynamics 365 for financial and operations. So what about references? If you wanted to learn more, I would encourage you to go to the docs.microsoft.com site. Under the Dynamics 365 for finance and operations, the intelligence section, there's a lot of content there for you to learn as what embedded analytics are, how to create them, so on and so forth. But I would also encourage you to attend the how to extend or build new analytical workspaces. This is a session being hosted by TJ Vasar, who is a program manager on the BI team. He'll talk about how to build analytical reports or extend an existing one. The first session is, I think, on Tuesday, 18th of July at 3 p.m. Central Time. The repeat session is on 20th July at 9 p.m. Central Time. So if you're interested in how to, the technicalities behind building an analytical report, I would encourage you to attend his session. And you can find the latest updates on all the upcoming features in the next release on roadmap.dynamics.com. So this is one of the web pages to mark as favorite for you guys. to get the latest of what's coming next. And as soon as we start working on something, we put it on the roadmap side. So we keep it updated in real time for you to go look at. With that, thank you very, very much for attending the session. I hope you found this session informative and useful. And if there are any questions online that needs answered.
Yes, we do have one question that remains unanswered. It is, as the dashboards are currently available in English only, can I still use this if I deploy Dynamics in other languages?
So if you're deploying Dynamics in other languages, the dashboards are still English only. So I don't think they're translated at this point of time. We are working on a translation story for the embedded dashboards. And so, yeah, something to follow up with us at a later point of time, for sure.
All right, so that's all the questions we have outstanding. Any final thoughts before I wrap up?
Yeah, guys, go ahead and take a look at all the dashboards that we have added, play around with it. If you like something, that's great. Give us a thumbs up. If you don't like it, feel free to send an email out to me. I'm not sure if my email address has been published out there, but it's shpandey@microsoft.com, and send an email out, and we will take a look into that and try to improve our reports that we ship out of box. With that, thank you very much.
All right, thank you, Shivam. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to bring your attention to a link that I posted in the conversation pane. That's a link to a short survey for this web conference, and we ask that you please take a moment before logging out to access it. We hope that you found today's information helpful, and if you enjoyed today's web conference or have feedback on how we can provide you with a better event, this is your chance to let us know. The survey scores are on a scale from 1 to 5, with 5 being the highest score possible. And that is going to conclude today's Infopedia web conference. Attendees may access the web conference recording within 48 hours via the same registration link used to attend today's live broadcast. I'd like to extend a big thank you to our presenter, Shivam Pandey, and thank you, audience, for logging in and joining us today.